welcome to today's episode of The Daily Blend. I'm your host, AC, and we are joined in studio today by Bruce Ungles, who is the executive director of the Show Me State Games. How are you, Bruce?
I'm good. Thank you for having me today.
Of course. Thank you for being here. So Show Me State Games.
We are getting prepared. So we're year 41 for us. So we were started back in 1985 by the Governor's Council on Physical Fitness and Health. Been in Columbia ever since. This is, like I said, this is year 41 for us. We're mainly over 2 weekends, one weekend in June with our senior games, which is a fantastic event for just shows you the longevity of athletes these days. And, we had I had more than that. I had 6 athletes that were over 90 that were competing. So that's kind of our senior games, the upper end of our kids. And then we have our Show Me State Games in July, 2 weekends at the end of July. Always the hottest part of the summer, regardless. But we get through it. And I'll have kids as young as 2 or 3 that'll run track and field. So that's kind of the gamut. We run from 2 years old to 92 years old.
You get to see it all.
We see it all,
and everything in between.
It is, and so you think a lot about sports. You think a lot of the team sports, the competitive nature, and that's true. That exists. But we also have the individual sports. Your track and field, your swimmings. Everybody's there for the right reasons. Everybody is there to do better than they did last year, to meet, greet, health, family, fitness, and fun. That's kind of the 4 pillars that we've always kind of modeled the Show Me State Games after. And so you see the seniors that are still active. You think about it, we don't see the seniors until they get 60. Nobody wants to admit they're a senior until they retire. And then, at 50 is not a senior. So
it's not.
Thank you.
I must be 50, right? Because you see how adamant I got about that?
As I am as well.
Right.
But I don't want to admit that. So, so we start seeing it at 60. So the 60s and 65s are a big age group. But, like I said, we had 6 over 90. I had a mixed doubles bowling team that were both over 90 years old.
Are you serious?
It was fantastic. So, just the longevity of people these days. And then at the same time, we'll see the kids run track or swimming. I've seen judo participants that are, 3, 4, 5 years old, just getting the kids into good activities, health, fitness, family, and fun. Staying active, putting the screens down, getting out, doing whatever. So
yeah, that's an important part, especially as with this younger generation, like, put the phones down and get out and get active.
So, and we've seen a lot of changes over the years. So I've been with the game since 1990. So I've been there a long time. Started as a student, when I started college and have been there the whole time. So I've seen the saturation of sport. So back in the day, there was 2 events. There was the Show Me State Games and there was AAU basketball. And that was all that existed in the summer. And that has grown to where there's 7 tournaments every weekend in every sport that you want to play. So the saturation has changed the competitive nature. So we've seen sports, the individual sports, kind of grow on us the past couple of years. Since COVID, everybody kind of, instead of being a part of a team during COVID, they kind of went and did their own thing. And so we've seen sports like pickleball. We started pickleball. We were the first pickleball tournament in Missouri, and we had 40 people in it. And now we had over 300. And so it's just growth from sports that you don't expect to see it sometimes. So.
Wow.
I never thought pickleball was going to make anything more than about 30 people, and now we got 300.
No, and who can ever tell what's going to end up being a phenomenon in sports?
No, back in the day we had the dodgeball movie that came out, and so everybody was having dodgeball for a minute, and you think, oh, maybe that's going to end, and that fizzles. And, kickball, same way. We're trying to bring kickball back. It's kind of a new sport for us again this year, so we've had it before. Trying it again, had some people with some interest. So with 40 sports, there are other state games that have 60 to 70 sports, and I don't know where they find them. I don't know whether they're getting Quidditch or arm wrestling and, all these different things. But they've all got the same mentality of if I can get 10, 15, 20 people involved in something and have the interest in it, that's perfect. So it's kind of the mentality of the state games across the nation. There's about 25 states that have a program like ours, similar to ours anyway. And so it's great. Senior games is a little different. I think all 50 states have a senior games program of some sort. They have a national event that's in Des Moines this year. So they have 12,000 people registered for that. So
that's amazing.
And they come from every state and Canada and Mexico and everywhere else. So
It's an amazing thing.
Yeah.
So, if somebody's watching or listening right now, and let's say it's a senior who's like, I didn't even realize that I could still, like, how do you get involved?
And we have sports like shuffleboard. We have sports like skill contest, which is just throwing at targets, easy stuff that you don't have to be a phenomenal. A lot of our seniors may not have been a college athlete.
Sure.
But you know what? They're still active and they still enjoy the competition. And so that's who we get. So, senior games are done for this year. We still have age groups for seniors in our Show Me State games. Everything is registered through our website. They can download a form and print it off and mail it if they're still old school. But we still have registration online. So it's smsg.org is our website, and that's where we get most of our registrations. And so I always tell people I know what the IRS feels like on tax day because all of our entries come in a small window. It's just everybody waits till the last minute to keep that money.
Well, yes, that's what we do.
That's
what we do on most things.
I'm probably just as guilty. So.
Yes, that's what we do on most things. So people can look on smsg.org,
Yep.
and they can find all this information.
Yep, there'll be a link to every sport that they want, see the list of sports that we have, and it'll step you through the registration process. And like I said, a lot of times people want to know who's coming. We don't ever put that information out because everybody does register at the last minute. So,
okay.
But there is results from last year. You can look and see kind of what the times or distances or who was there, and just to kind of get a feel for what to expect. But we were in all but maybe 10 counties last year, so we are statewide for sure.
Okay.
Our senior games are open to out of state, so we had probably 20 some states that were represented this year in our senior games. So we get them. Had a couple from Colorado that came down. I've had them from Florida, but I never know whether they're snowbird.
Right.
They just may be a winter address. So, but we have them from everywhere.
So whether you're from 9 to 90, like that, just from
3 to 90.
From 3 to 90.
Yep.
Like, go to the website.
Absolutely.
Find you guys on Facebook, Show Me State Games, and find something. There's something for you.
Absolutely. Like
something
I said, there are easy sports that it doesn't take a lot of athletic ability to do, but it's fun. We see people that will come back every year or come back when they're injured. You can't, just because they want to see people.
Thank you,
So
Bruce.
it's the camaraderie.